Please don't move.
There's something on your boot.
Yeah, I noticed.
I did not. I wrote this piece. I conceived it December 2015, wrote it January 2016. And that was, I think 1 week after I finished writing it, I met Vince Vaughn and cast him in Brawl and Subblock 99. So I wasn't really thinking of that and sort of working with him on that. I saw his versatility. His middle name actually happens to be Anthony. And in thinking about things and how I could set it up, I was like, well, if he's going to be Anthony, who I'd originally seen as younger, I'm going to need someone who's grizzled by comparison to him and older and has that sort of look and is going to be able to have that presence and go head to head with him. And he'd already had the working relationship with Mel Gibson from Hacksaw Ridge and facilitated getting the script over to him, and Mel came on right away. But there were no actors I had in mind when I was writing that piece, because it was really shortly after I'd finished everything with Bone Tomahawk, and I hadn't set up this kind of next phase of like actors that I wanted to work with repeatedly. Anthony was about 30 and Ridgman was about 50. And so it wasn't a big shift. And unlike, let's say, everyone in Los Angeles, I'm always happy to make the characters older than written, because to me they become more interesting. I think the Los Angeles thought is make them younger so they look sexier on a billboard. But my taste is older is going to be more interesting, so I'm always happy to go that way. And kind of consistently with my movies, that's been a change that I've been comfortable with all across the boards, of people being a little bit older than I'd written, because you get more history. So a few answers for that. First, we were looking for someone to play the part, and his name came up, and I knew him from a couple of pieces and liked what I'd seen, and I went through just as much work of his as I could get a hold of, and just saw this extreme consistency and this comfort that not a lot of actors, even really good ones, have. Vince has it, and Tory has it, and Don Johnson has it, which is a comfort with not doing that much if the scene doesn't require that much. And so then you're really kind of doing a lot of adjusting with nuance and just interior work, and I just saw how good he was. And after I'd seen enough work, I didn't need to audition him. I knew that he was the guy, and we spoke on the phone and had a really good conversation. We're both Florida boys, and we had a really nice chat. And I knew that the role was his. And then on set, the cadences are tricky with what I write, and a lot of times people will land it, and I'm not one to give line readings. It's just not. I feel to some extent I haven't cast it correctly if I need to give a lot of line readings. So I don't think I've given any unless someone has asked for one. But he naturally got the cadences in the way that Don Johnson, Fred Melamed, and Mel Gibson really get the cadences, and there's just a richness to the delivery. So it was very comfortable right away, and I saw from my first day working with him, I said, this is going to be a really good process.
It's very nice to hear. It's very nice to hear. I think it comes from in the writing, it comes from, his years of directing theater. And I was coming off of stage, so it was a natural transition to go from doing Shakespeare to go to doing Zahler. It's kind of crazy, but it was, I didn't have to act it. It was just get out of the way of the words. There's a very specific rhythm that he writes to. And I recognized it the minute I read it. And so it was like, don't do much. Just don't do much. That, and it was just a fascinating character. The writing, it always starts with the writing. The writing was incredible. The character was one that had an outcome that I'd never experienced before. Getting to work with Zahler, getting to work with Mel Gibson, getting to work with Vince, who I've known for years. It was so many positives. And he's a Florida boy. So we have that in common.
It was like getting the gang
It was.
together.
It was. It was. Yeah.
Right. And we've recreated the Florida weather in this room very nicely.
Very, very, very hot and humid here in this room.
The highlights are all creative. This is the third movie I worked on with Benji Bakshi, my cinematographer, and we get along really well. I used to be a DP myself, and we've got a really good working relationship. And this was kind of the one where we leaned into, I think, a little bit more naturally what his style is, whereas the other two, with handheld and kind of the way we approached it, and sort of the intentional ugliness of some of Brawl and Cell Block 99, a little less so. So that was nice. Certainly there's a location towards the end of the movie. I don't want to give away anything, but that location was great and just had an incredible atmosphere. And both of my other movies have a big location at the end where a lot of stuff takes place. So that was nice. But I mean, the rewards and the gratification on a day-to-day basis, 95% of this is just performance. I mean, I truly believe if you have a good script and you have good acting, you have a good movie. And everything else is frosting and can make a difference. And then if you're a stylist like a Dario Argento or a Lucio Fulci, maybe the style is the content, but that's not what I'm doing. So getting the performances and seeing the stuff land and seeing the scenes happen in front of me in a lot of these long takes was really gratifying. The challenges were, I don't know if it was the busiest time in Vancouver film history, but there were more big league productions there than in Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta combined, and the crews were really thin. So there were not a lot of choices with some of that. So that could be rough, where just kind of basic things sometimes weren't taken care of, and it made it a lot more difficult than it needed to be. But what matters are the performances that you're getting day in and day out, and I had a fantastic cast, particularly Mr. Consistency here.
It happens in the film, and it's a moment where Zahler came over and he said, "We got the movie." You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "We got the movie." And then when you walked away, and Mel started maniacally laughing, like, "This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good."
I was not aware of this. No, my choices are of what to include and what to get rid of are qualitative. So there was, I mean, there were really only a couple of scenes that didn't make it. One of which was a plot scene that I felt wasn't as strong as all the scenes before and after. It says, like, why have this moment that people can figure out later and kind of lower the quality, especially this early on in the movie. So that's something that was in the script that I dropped. But I mean, it's a 2-hour, 39-minute movie. I kept it in. This isn't the sign of someone who's really cutting his movie to the fastest, most up-tempo commercial version. A lot of that stuff that I want to explore is there, and then and those are the rhythms and also how you get to explore that atmosphere and build that movie world beyond just story and plot and where everything is going. It's this movie shows a lot of interesting characters who, because of economic situations, are forced to do things they may not want to do. These characters are flawed, but I think interesting. And if you're interested in seeing different characters than you usually see and events not working out how you all how you would expect, this is a good movie to check out.
Start the party.
You still in?
I am until I'm not.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.